All right, today we're diving into a tool that's a total game changer for personal AI. It's Google's NotebookLM. We're going to break down how this thing works as your own private, fact-based second brain. And trust me, that's a much bigger deal than you might think.
Okay, let's just get real for a second. We all have this problem. It doesn't matter if you're a student, a professional, a creator, you are drowning in a sea of information. It's just too much, and trying to connect all the dots feels pretty much impossible sometimes.
I mean, think about it. All your most important stuff is probably scattered all over the place. You've got project plans in Google Docs, you've got research papers saved as PDFs, key decisions are buried deep in your emails, and maybe you've got hours of video transcripts you need to go through. It's a total digital mess. So how are you supposed to pull it all together and find the actual insights?
Now, your first thought might be, well, I'll just ask a general AI. But that's where you run into the biggest, scariest problem with most AI today: hallucination. They just make stuff up, and they do it with so much confidence. So that leads us to a really important question. What if you had an AI that literally couldn't invent facts? An AI that was grounded only in your reality?
And that's exactly where NotebookLM comes into the picture. It was built from the ground up to solve this one massive problem. It's designed to be your personal AI assistant, completely grounded in your world and your information. So what is it, really? Well, at its core, NotebookLM is an AI research assistant that only, and I mean exclusively, works with the sources you give it. This is the whole key. It does not go out and search the internet. Nope. Instead, it becomes a world-class expert on one thing and one thing only: the information you hand over.
And this little comparison breaks it down perfectly. You know, general AI tools, they're trained on the whole wide, messy internet. That's what makes them so creative, but it's also why they hallucinate. NotebookLM, on the other hand, is built to be less creative, but way, way more accurate, because it only knows what you've taught it. It gives you factual, cited answers based on your sources. It's a huge shift from a creative brainstormer to a factual assistant, and that's what makes it so powerful for getting real work done. And its ability to learn is just massive. Most AIs forget what you told them 5 minutes ago, right? Well, NotebookLM has a context window of about 25 million words per notebook. To give you some perspective, that's like the entire Harry Potter series 20 times over. It can hold a whole universe of your information in its memory, all at once.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get into the fun stuff and see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to look at 3 different people: a student, a business owner, and a content creator. So first up, the student. Just imagine it's finals week. You're staring at a mountain of dense academic papers. You've got messy lecture notes and hours of video lectures to get through. The sheer amount of stuff is just overwhelming. With NotebookLM, you just upload all of it: the PDFs, the lecture transcripts, web articles, everything. The AI digests it all and boom, becomes your personal study partner. You can ask it to spit out summaries, create little pop quizzes to test yourself, make flashcards for all the key terms. It can even build a whole FAQ guide for you. It's not just repeating your notes back to you, it's actually helping you learn the material. All right, next, let's think about the small business owner. Your customers expect answers, and they expect them to be fast and consistent. That's really tough when you have a small team and all your policies are scattered across a dozen different documents. This is where NotebookLM becomes like the central brain for your business. You feed it your product manuals, your return policies, even examples of great customer service emails. And just like that, it becomes the single source of truth. You can ask it to generate a perfect, on-brand response script in seconds. Now your whole team can ask it questions directly, making sure every single customer gets a fast, accurate, and consistent answer. And finally, let's talk about the creator. If you've ever tried to grow a YouTube channel, you know the hardest part isn't the editing, it's figuring out what to say. It's coming up with those killer ideas that actually connect with people. Now, this is a really powerful strategy that some people are calling the YouTube cloning hack. Step 1, you feed NotebookLM about 10 to 15 video links from a super successful channel in your niche. Step 2, you ask it to analyze everything: the tone of voice, the script structure, the hooks they use to grab your attention. Step 3, based on that deep analysis, it starts generating new, viral video ideas that are tailored to that proven format. And the final step, Step 4, it can write the entire video script for you. This isn't about just copying someone. It's about systematically decoding what works and then applying it to your own content. So NotebookLM is obviously incredible for understanding and creating text, But everything we've talked about so far is really just the beginning. Now, let's look at the features that really push this thing into what I'd call superpower territory. Because what happens when you need to actually present your findings? What if you need to go beyond just the words on the page? With just one click, NotebookLM can transform all your research into completely new formats. It can generate infographics to help you visualize data. It can build slide decks for presentations. It can create short video explainers to summarize the key points. And it can even give you audio overviews. It's like having a whole content creation studio built right on top of your research. But here it is. This is the feature that honestly feels like it's from the future. We've been talking about summarizing your research, transforming your research, but what if you could actually have a conversation with it? Get this, NotebookLM can create an audio discussion, kind of like a mini podcast, where AI hosts debate and discuss the main themes from your documents. But here's where it gets wild. You can turn on an interactive mode and literally jump into the conversation. You can interrupt the AIs to ask your own follow-up questions. You're not just listening to a summary, you are an active participant in a live discussion with your own knowledge. This is a direct quote from someone who tried this feature for the first time. And you know what? It captures the feeling perfectly. The ability to have a real spoken conversation with your own knowledge base is an absolute, undeniable game changer. So as we start to wrap this up, what's the big takeaway here? It's that the future of truly useful AI might not be about building bigger and bigger models trained on the entire internet. Instead, it's about creating personal, private, and perfectly grounded intelligence. So let's just recap the 4 key things to remember. First, grounded AI is where it's at. By only using your sources, you basically eliminate hallucinations. Second, it becomes your personal genius, a true expert on your specific world. Third, it has multi-format output, turning your knowledge into any format you could possibly need. And finally, and this one is so important, your data is private. Google has stated they do not train their models on your content. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If you had a completely private, 100% factually accurate AI assistant that knew everything about your job, or your schoolwork, or your passions, and nothing else, what would be the very first problem you'd ask it to solve? The possibilities, when you think about it, are just fascinating.